Now let's talk about something that most people neglect. This is the element of what I call scalability. Now, to imagine scalability, I want you to imagine a company that's growing at beyond 100% per annum. I want you to imagine a company that's going from 100 to 200 to 400 to 800 to 1600, going from 1,000 to 2,000 to 4,000 to 8,000 to 20,000. How easy is it for you to dramatically multiply up the number of transactions you're doing? And what does that mean in terms of product and process inside your organisation, procurement, knowledge, components, ingredients, conversion, manufacturing or people time, connecting to customers, finding prospects, getting them through the evaluation process, closing the deal, and then supplying the product. Because what I can tell you is that probably 85% of all commercial organisations have a serious problem in this demand, in this element. Why? Because they're people-based and they're knowledge-based and they're activity of people-based. So the more people time I need in the delivery of a product or process, the slower I scale. Because to double, often I need twice as many people. To double again, I need twice as many again. Now, we all know, if you've come from a small enterprise, how we tend to fall away to average performance as an organisation gets bigger. You know, if you've got some A stars and you start recruiting in people, it's almost impossible to keep up the level of capability and intelligence and business acumen. So in the end, we always end up starting to compromise because we simply got to keep driving the business forward. And in doing so, your productivity lowers, typically your margins lower, and certainly your growth rate slows. So people are the biggest barrier to high growth. So when we talk about scalability, we need to move people time back to product. We need to move from highly people-oriented distribution channels to channels that don't need people. We need to take knowledge and put it into products. We need to take products that are customised and turn them into standard products. We need to turn the handle quicker and quicker and quicker if we're to drive growth. Now, so I look at a venture and I ask about the connectivity to the customer, how well defined the customer is, how well the fit is, and how standard the product is. So when I see lots of different types of customers, I immediately know we've got a scalability problem, because we will, in the end, deny ourselves high referral sales. I look at channels and I ask myself, what are the barriers to pushing more product through the channel? And if there are impediments in the channel, lots of steps in the channel, I know in the end that will slow scalability down. I look at the customisation elements of a product, the number of accessories, the number of enhancements, the number of different ways it can be put into the marketplace, and for every additional element in there, I know we're taking away one dimension of scalability. So standard products that sell to the same customer through high capacity channels with little selling effort and little support effort have the highest scalability. So when we look at products that are seeking venture finance, then highly scalable products with global reach are much easier to find finance for than products that need a lot of people time or a lot of customisation. So this is really fundamental to the concept of driving growth. Okay, questions. Great questions. What do we look like 5, 10 or 50 times our size? Who are our customers? What are our products? What are our distribution channels? And then, of course, how do we get there? Now, if the answer to getting there is actually relatively straightforward And within our capability and our capacity, we've probably got a highly scalable solution. But if in order to get there, we need different markets, different products, different organisations, different channels, we know this is going to be a long, long, slow grind, and our growth capability is actually going to be relatively short. When I've looked at, particularly in the software industry, customised solutions, sales cycles always long, lots of customer input to define where the customisation has to occur, lots of development time to produce the final solution, lots of installation and training time to get the product into the customer. Now, go back to the growth driver, referral sales. It's almost impossible to get a referral until the customers use the product. So if my sales cycle is long, I've got to wait a long time before I've got a customer that says what a great product it is. So the shorter the sales cycle, which tends to move more towards standardised products, the shorter the sales cycle, the quicker I can get a good referral and the faster I can get the next customer on board. So that sales cycle is highly influenced by standardisation of product. Simply ask the same questions. How many different versions? How many different accessories? How many different ways? How many different channels? How many different customers? All of that simply slows down the growth because it's this scalability issue. I remember I said to you before, it's easier to grow by replicating than by finding a new product or new customer. Well, exactly the same thing. Once I've built a learning curve and an organisation that can clearly deliver a good solution to a tightly defined set of customers, I will grow much, much faster by doing another set of the same ones. I will actually grow faster by taking what I do in Australia and going to New Zealand and going to the United States and going to England or going to China than by going and finding another product and another solution. Right? So these are lessons for us in scalability. Actions. Take knowledge and put it in products. Fundamental. I saw this years ago when I was competing for a deal. It was 26 factories of implementation. It was a $1.5 million implementation project. We were the designers of the software product. We'd made the software product sale and they were going out to tender for the implementation. This was in America. So the American salesman with his braces, with his fancy handkerchief and his gold rings and things, you know, with the big PowerPoint, the rah-rah, we're the inventors, we know all about this, we've done 100 of these. For a mere 1.5, we'll come in and do it for you. Okay? Fantastic PowerPoint presentation. I had some other colleagues who had a very small office, only half a dozen people, and they went in and they had 6 ring binders. Put them on the desk and they said, this is a process. Getting software installed is about managing risk and time and budget. And we want to take you through this process, which we've got completely documented, and we want to show you how we'll do that for you. Guess who got the deal? The little guys. Why? Because they'd taken knowledge and they'd put it into a product that the customer could evaluate. But more particularly, you could also de-skill it. It's easier to train people, and clearly you can grow faster with stuff that's more easily able to be replicated. So when you have knowledge, whether you put it into a document, into a process, which is a manual, or into a software solution, what you're doing is you're documenting the IP, you're making it easier for people to use and to apply, you make it easier to train people, but actually, in fact, you actually make it also easier to sell. So that's fundamental. Develop systems and processes to maintain quality at higher volumes. We see again and again and again small companies that deliver outstanding solutions when they've got 3 or 5 customers, but when they've got 50 or 100, the whole thing goes to hell. And it's because the people who developed the product and sold the initial solutions, who have an intimate knowledge, cannot service larger numbers of customers. And so the people who don't have the same knowledge, don't have the same motivation, don't know the product as well, tend to mess up, quality just goes. So the idea of having diagnostics, metrics, processes, documentations, data gathering, feedback systems that allow you not only to develop and sell more standardised solutions, but to monitor those as they're being implemented and being used will greatly enhance your ability to scale. And then obviously put the training programs behind them to make sure that everyone's brought up to speed.